Hello, everybody. Green Vibes podcast on air, and today we have a special guest here with us. It's Rommel. Rommel, it works from Greenpeace Canada, right, Rommel? Thank you very much for coming, Rommel. Thank you.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
so much. I'm pretty sure that we today we're gonna have a very good conversation.
Mhm.
Peoples are very interested to know what Greenpeace is doing in Canada,
Mhm.
what's the result, and you are very involved with this cause for Greenpeace, right?
Yes.
So yeah, just let's start. Tell us what's your main job there. What do you do? What's the challenge that you are having there?
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Actually, I migrated from the Philippines like about 10 years ago. And when I came here, I really see the beauty of Canada. Like its people, the very polite people here, an amazing variety or diverse environment. Like our
Exactly.
ecosystem is very diverse from like the BC rainforest to like Montreal, or like beautiful architecture to
Yeah,
the Arctic. So those are like really amazing
I
place to be
think
with.
yeah, that's one of the reasons that because we are here in Canada for 8 years, right? 8 years, yeah. So we came in 2014 from
Yeah.
Brazil. We are from Brazil. So we for us, that's a immigrant.
Yeah.
We see here in Canada this diversity of the many people for different countries
Yes.
and how each one can collaborate with the environment, right?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think that's one of the reasons that we start to work with this environment because in my background in Brazil, I work with the environment since 2010 that I start with this. And when I came here, I told her, I said, "Oh, we need to continue. We need to continue work for the
The work,
environment. And
yes.
here in Canada, we have
Yes.
that's great opportunities, right, to do so many things, so many good stuff.
That's just amazing. That's exactly how I feel. Because when I got here, I'm a big environmentalist myself. So I was looking for an organization. I'm always fan of Greenpeace. Like, the work that they do over the years. We've celebrated our 50 years last year at the height of the pandemic, but we were able to like look back at the amazing things that Greenpeace have done over the years. And for me, I started at this volunteering. So I volunteer with them for 5 years, and I have seen so many changes. I've been a part of so many changes, like trying to make change, and when it comes to like raising awareness, like putting issue at the forefront, and also trying to encourage also corporation to do better. So I've seen all those changes, and that what makes me like, you know what, I quit my corporate job when there's an opportunity that came. I quit my corporate job and work full time for Greenpeace. So that's how I started, and now I work as a full time mobilization campaigner. And what I usually do is I work with volunteers and staff to create nonviolent direct actions, or work with campaigns, and also work with allies. That's just like an amazing experience for me so far. So yeah.
And we see that Greenpeace is involved in so many different areas, right? We saw the sea, the oceans, for everywhere. And your main focus, it's which one is for the campaign, for example. Now, what kind of campaign are you doing? Yeah, that's what is most important for. I know that every campaign is very important, right? But Greenpeace, it's so diversity. We saw so different campaigns every month, every day.
Yes, and it differs from which country Greenpeace is. Like
Exactly.
we have like different offices and regional offices across the globe. So different issues also appear in different countries. So like a lot of countries focuses on oceans. Here in Canada, we have like three main focus. We have like nature and like forest and nature, or food and nature. We have like the climate, fossil fuels and climate, and also we have like the oceans and plastics and plastic pollution. So, but right now, my 80% of my work focuses on the fossil banks campaign. So when you talk about fossil banks, it so like most like we know that fossil fuels is also a big contributor to climate change.
Exactly,
And
it's a big issue that we have.
We've been like fighting fossil fuels, both fossil fuel industries for decades. And just maybe a little background of what fossil fuels is.
Yeah, it's good to explain.
Yeah.
So because why, right? That's most of it's we had a big concern about the fossil fuel. It's a big issue for our environment, right? Just explain. You are the
So I'm not really an expert because we have also like campaigners, but over the years of like campaigning, fossil fuels, from what I understand, it's an energy source that is coming from the crust of the earth from decomposing plants and animals, and they're being burned. They're extracted, burned to produce energy. And most of these fossil fuels are in form of oil, with coal. Those are types of fossil fuels. And and
it's a big emission for CO2, right?
Exactly. That's the biggest contributors also for CO2. And most of our energy are coming, although we have like other forms of energy now that we trying to like promote, like wind and like more of the renewable source of energy, wind and solar. Our government is still focused on fossil fuels.
Yeah.
So that's why we're fighting for fossil. We call it, the campaign is called Fossil Banks because we're fighting the banks, the top 5 Canadian banks that are actually funding fossil fuel industries. They are the reason why fossil fuels still exist right now and continue to operate. So that's what like 80% of my job is focused on. So we're now at phase 1. Last year we started this campaign, and actually a lot of like also grassroots organizations are also working on this. So it's nice to work with a lot of like organization. Not just Greenpeace is working on this campaign, but as also organizations as Lead Now, like 350, and of course our youth climate strikers, the Fridays for Future. So those are the organizations that we work with, and so it's been awesome experience so far, and I've learned a lot along the way with this campaign.
Are you getting some results about this? Because you know that when you start fighting, let's say like that, with big companies, it's hard, right? Because it's too much money that's involved. As I said, it's a financial, and to fight with the 5 biggest company, right, in Canada. I think it's very hard. But how far you're going to do with this? Do you get any results so far? The government are helping Greenpeace about this?
Well, we know that the government is still like for fossil fuels, like pipelines has been approved. So and actually, like just a little side note, the pipeline that is also like that passes through like indigenous territories, with certain community territory is now being like endangered because like of these fossil fuels industry trying to put pipelines into the territory.
And it's a private property. It's
with Suwatan. It's an indigenous territory that they have no rights. They don't have rights to actually build pipelines into their land without consent, and that's what always have the indigenous communities are fighting for. And so that's a little side note on that. But also what we're seeing is you're also absolutely right that it's a hard job actually to like fight big corporation.
Exactly.
Especially with they have unlimited resources, that they can get away with. and they can also like do their greenwashing, like pretending to care about the environment, funding a lot of like initiatives, green initiatives. But at the back of it, they're also funding fossil fuels. They continue to fund fossil fuels industry. So what we're trying to do, like at the first phase of this campaign, was to raise awareness. So we need to educate the people. We need to do a lot of actions to raise awareness and make the public know that this is what they're doing. So now we're on the second phase, which is disruption. So we're trying to create nonviolent direct actions to bring these issues forefront. So actions that would somehow, make them, because I know like these banks, their reputations are important to them. So
exactly.
So whenever they're there, we were there. We're trying to like change the narrative. That you're not actually like protecting the environment. You're not respecting indigenous rights. You're doing this. You're doing these things. So that's what we're trying to do. Like we're to disrupt the regular day-to-day transaction. So I would say,
yeah, it's a everyday fight, right? Because it's
Yes.
I know that's a hard job for you,
Yeah.
even to bring knowledge and for the people, awareness for the people. When we start to work with the environment 2 years ago, right, that we had before one company said environmental care.
Yeah.
Our focus, it was to bring awareness and knowledge for the peoples, because we cannot blame people, regular people, about if they are doing something wrong,
Yes.
right, for the environment. Because as I said, how many people, if you go to the street and ask about fossil fuel, how many people are going to give the right answer? Right?
Exactly.
And this awareness, this what Greenpeace are doing, that's to bring awareness for the people.
Yes.
I think that's the not main focus, but it's very, very important, right? And it's hard, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It's really hard, especially if you're with this day and age. Also, there's a lot of like the social media, like a lot of like disinformation. So we need to also
fake news.
Yeah, and fake news. So we also have to fight that. It's tough. It's tough to do that, but I always have hope because I see younger generations that are like rising up. Like
that's a good
perfect example is Greta Thunberg.
That's a good point. Because you go to the rallies, sometimes you get some people together. Do you see that younger people are getting more involved with this or not?
I think they are. They are. And that's really gives me hope, because sometimes with this kind of job, it can be really frustrating.
Yeah, exactly.
And you lose hope.
It's not frustrating, but when you saw people that, I'm fighting for this for 40 years, 50 years, I think for myself that, man, for 40 years and we have changed for sure, right? Something that happened, but it should be a big difference.
Yeah.
Right? If our teenagers, our younger people is not come to involve with this, right?
Yeah.
How it's going to be in the future.
Exactly. So that's why, when I see like younger generations are like really speaking up, it gives me hope. Like there's still hope for this planet. So yeah, whenever we're gone, there's going to be people that are still going to continue the job that we had started. So that gives me hope. And I hope, also a little like, sad about it, because kids are supposed to be kids, right?
Exactly.
They're not supposed to be like on the street fighting for their future.
Exactly.
So we adults should take care of them. And now, because their future is at stake here, they're trying to speak up, and in whatever way, Greenpeace has been really supportive with Fridays for Future in everything that they do and whatever they need. So we're always behind them and supporting them over the years. So that's really, and it's great to work with youth actually.
That's when you see, because when we always talk about this about kids. We always get some focus on there, and because imagine maybe it's grade 2, 3, 4, yeah, very young kids.
Yeah.
And when they learn something, the first thing that happen when they get home, they tell for parents, right? They tell, hey, today I learned it at the school. Today I learned at the school.
Yes.
So I think the school, it's very powerful, right? For starting teaching their kids. And not, as you said, then we don't want that they need to be kids, they need to be young, they need to play, to enjoy, because it's a short period, right?
Yes.
They have to enjoy. But once they bring this at home and tell them for the parents, maybe we change parents, right? They change their parents' minds.
Exactly.
Because the children can bring it for parents that the importance they plant the tree. Why is so important the tree is there?
Yes.
So the kids have interest for this, and we talk about that for the parents.
Yes.
Because some parents don't like it.
Yes.
Trees, animals, environment. Oh, no, don't get it.
Yeah.
So it's hard. Maybe the kids is the best generation to teach something, because adults is very, very hard.
Yep.
I look at
They are always in a rush, right? We are in that. No, it's a busy day that we work all the day. We work 24 hours. Cell phone, it's if you work for any place.
Some parents don't look neither the kids. Oh, I am busy. later. I'm busy now.
Yes.
So it's hard.
Right. It's hard because you're also trying to make a living, to support your family. And with times also, like, it's really hard for us also to do like a lot of stuff, like, yes. And I believe we should start like educating kids. And that's also one area that Greenpeace want to focus on. We have volunteers, we call them green speakers. Their purpose or their role is actually to be invited into the schools to speak on wide range of topics, from climate change to oceans, to plastic pollutions, to food, nature. So all those stuff are being discussed. So they have to just contact us. We have volunteers that go to their schools and discuss this topic. So that's one thing that
that's pretty good.
And it's been
if they go to the website, they can find it.
Yes.
That's all the information. Everybody can go www.greenpeace.ca
and look for volunteers. There's like volunteer button there. And one of like, we have because we have different types of volunteers. We have volunteers that are going on the streets, doing some marches, doing some creative action, nonviolent direct action. But there are also volunteers that are interested in educating.
Yeah,
like going to schools and communicating with kids, like sharing this information with kids. So those are also one type of volunteers that we have, and it's been well received. Actually, we have several presentations, hundreds of presentations now, and especially during COVID times, that was also a great way to like connect with other schools as well. So so it's been well received, and now we're trying to like increase our capacity to be able, because sometimes we have limited volunteers, so we like there's several requests and we can't really give in to all the requests, but we have to like train people to do it. So so it's been really,
but really
great.
Worth it, right? I think that's a kind of volunteer that once people start doing, right?
Yes,
they never stop it, because they see that it's pretty good. Many people getting together and for the same cause, for a better planet.
Yes,
right.
Yes,
we see that the climate change, it's long time, right, that we talk about climate change. The ice is melting, everything is, even the pipeline, it's affecting, right? They are affecting climate change. If you can tell me about this one, should be great. So now I have a question about this, and it's all about climate change. How's the climate change it's doing now? What's the big issues that Canada are facing about climate change? The most the important part that we can fight with this, that can help?
Well, for me, like really organizing. organizing a lot of like grassroots organizations. Start organizing, be on the streets, people volunteering. Those are the things that you can do. But I think the biggest threat is actually, like just look around us. It's the effects of climate change are very evident. You can see it.
Okay,
Like,
exactly.
The wildfires in the West are getting like really stronger and harsher. We've seen like homes that are like burned to the ground. And that's what also one of their issues that are being like be brought forefront. Also, like floods and drought in the prairies are also affecting the farmers and their livelihood. So, and recently we have like really strong thunderstorms. Those are evident of climate change.
Things that never happened
Yes,
before. Right?
That things that exactly never happened before. So, I think people are getting it. Like they're starting to like connect the dots, because we've been talking about climate change. Unless it's directly affecting them, they won't actually like do something.
That's the point.
Now that they're like, it hits close to home, right? So so when that issue, when these things happened and we see it by our own eyes, then people started to like really think about it.
Sometimes it's the north, right? The degree was positive.
Yeah.
Right. I think I don't remember.
I don't remember if it was in Yellowknife.
I think Fort McMurray. I think like a couple of years ago.
Yeah, because
a lot of
usually
people was
it's
displaced.
very negative. Yeah. The temperature, the degree is very low, and it was positive.
Yes,
that's something.
Should be snow there, but no.
Yeah.
Yes.
The place that needs to be snow, there is no snow. The place that needs to be all ice, the icing are melting.
Yep.
We saw the bears. What happened? They are losing their place. Right?
Yes, exactly.
They don't have food enough on there.
Because Canada usually, I would say Canada is mostly temperate to cool country.
Exactly.
But now it's getting warmer and wetter. So it's strange to me. Like, like things has shifted. Everything like climate and weather like really shifted. It changed, the like I think distribution of rain. So so those are the things that we can see and evident, and they're projecting that in the next couple of decades, oceans are getting warmer, and ocean acidification.
Yeah, exactly.
It's very evident. Will be very evident. So So I think people are now getting it and starting to care about it. It's just they need to be educated in how. So what are we going to do? Because like you can do individual actions, right? So, but it's not enough. With we need to hit the target. Like the IPCC just released a report like a couple of years ago that we need to maintain below 1.5 degrees Celsius. Otherwise, the effects of climate change will be irreversible, right? Before it's too late. So everybody, like the countries, are like trying to cut their carbon emissions.
Yeah, exactly.
And we have but the conversation, it was like years before, like we have 11 years to cut our carbon emissions to stay on that level. But what were we doing? The government's still approving pipelines.
Exactly. So, we saw some people before elections. It's happened in every country, right? Before election, they said something that's the best thing that you're going to happen in the world, everything for the environment. But when it's really good, and I don't know, maybe because these big companies put a lot of money.
Yes.
I don't know. I'm just supposing. I'm not expert on this. But when we see that money it's involved, they change.
Yes.
Right? They change. As I said, absolutely. What the line is there?
Unfortunately, we're living in a capitalist society. So
right,
exactly. Profit will always be like the priority over health of the people, over people. So it's a sad reality. But I think we need to really be hopeful, put our trust in people. And with organizations that are there's a lot of organizations now. You don't have to be involved with Greenpeace all the time, but there's also a lot of environmental organizations that are working on this issue. So I think volunteering is one, and most of these organizations are also non-profit. So donating to them for them to be able to do their job is also one thing. If you are too busy, but you have an extra cash, that would also help. And also number 3 for me is like putting government officials that actually care for climate. So June 2 is our election. And actually it has started already, the pre-voting. So it's important for us to also make sure that we put government officials that are like, that will address climate change, that will put priority on addressing the climate crisis. So I think that's one thing that we also have to do, like as individuals. So
have you tried Eurofoods before? It's amazing plant-based foods, and it's here in Canada.
It's the best chunk and burger vegan food that you have tried. The mission is the healthiest and most delicious meat alternative in the world. Packages are fully recyclable, and the list of retail can be found in the website myveganmarkt.ca. That's the official Canadian distributor of this food. You have to try.
And you remember, the company is be present at Mississauga Veg Fest on June 25. I see you there, guys. Thank you.
Bye.
And when you are in the Marsh, general people's reacting, what is the reaction for people's watching the marshes?
Like, I always love marches because they're festive, they're celebratory, right? And it's always nice to connect with people that are in there. I've seen changes over the years, right? Because I think the last march we have here in Ontario was 2015. I think it was 2015, the March for Job, Justice, and Climate. That was a huge march. It's like, I think 10, 15,000 people came. Last May 14, after like 2 years being isolated and locked down.
Yeah, because we had to stop for this past 2 years, right? It's very tough for everybody.
Environmental defense and other organizations have managed to organize a climate march again. And that's like March 14. Although we didn't hit the number of people that we wanted to attend, but the energy is just amazing. I see that people are really like wanted to do something, so it was a very successful march. We have amazing speakers that have from different sectors, from labor, from youth, from health, so from like indigenous communities. And and I've seen also like over the past years, this is like really important, like centering our fight for climate justice on indigenous people, on people of color. So and people that are like most vulnerable. So those are like centering like, our fight for climate justice on those communities. I've seen tremendous, changes. They're at the forefront because I think, and we believe that those communities are the most affected communities when it comes to when we talk about climate change.
On the last March was the emergency in Ontario.
Yes,
I know, because the Environmental Defense invite me, and I can't stay there because it's unbelievable. But on the day I make the short video in my Instagram explain that. On this day I don't was with my car, and that's okay. I go to train. It's better. But my city don't have a train on weekends. Don't have a train. Don't have transport to go to Toronto. So
just the public, the public,
it's unbelievable. The governments don't put the train there we can't, the people, all the people is going to enjoy, to see the events. And what is the train? They stopped it. And so it's so frustrated for me because the government instead build new highways and okay.
Yes.
I oh my goodness, I destroy every forest. Push the farmers out and I build the road. That's okay.
That's
it's
one
not,
thing. Also,
it's unbelievable.
Instead of investing in a more effective and efficient public transportation, we build more highways that are
we have good trains here.
More CO2 that are made by cars, right?
Not only that, it's also like disrupting the ecosystem, right? So and animals. And that's why we see like COVID, like most of the infectious disease that are coming up came from animals.
So because the example
they're just being displaced.
Yes.
Right. So that's one thing that also people don't understand. I think everything is connected, and then people didn't realize that how everything is connected.
I have seen all the organizations fight to stop a highway
413. Yes.
Yeah.
And on this weekend, when had the rallies, I think, oh my goodness, so coincidence. I am trying to go there and don't have how I stay there.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. It's easy. Push the road there, put many cars out. So
it's not very efficient. That's very and I think I don't know. That's why it's important for us to also support organizations that are really fighting for this, and Lead Now, and also environmental defense is like really fighting for that highway.
This rally, I think, is so great. I am very happy because all the organizations work together. I know that Greenpeace have Fight for Something, David Suzuki, Environmental Defense, and there's so many organizations. But I think that if all of the organizations work together,
it's more
powerful.
Yes. Because everything has their own, I think for me, as I've worked in this field, I've seen each organization have different ways to tackle these issues. Some are focused on lobbying. Some are focused on online campaign. Greenpeace is known for nonviolent direct action. So we're going to the streets, creating this huge, actions that creates this mind bomb. That's the term that we use. Those images that made people think that this is happening. And Greenpeace was able to broadcast that to
they show what really happened, and
it's
now
happening on real time.
For years from now, it's easier with the internet. We had such a good searcher there that we can see everything there, right? We put ourselves in an example because we are vegan. So before we become vegan, we never see what happened in slaughterhouses, right?
Yes.
In my mind, it's something okay, they put there. I know that they're gonna kill the animals, okay, but it's not. In my mind, I didn't have the image about how cruel it was, right? It is with the animals in this slaughterhouse, and from the internet, the people see. Right? The people can see what's really happening. Even the environment, they see what happened to the environment.
Yeah.
How many plastics? That's a big problem for the world, this plastic pollution.
Yes.
The oceans, right?
Yeah.
And we can take some action.
Yes, absolutely. And you're right, with being vegan, I think people, not only that's also really cruel to animals, if you're being more ethical, but also the industrial farming is very resource intensive.
Yeah.
And it also produces carbon emissions, right? So So those are also
the
like polluting.
deforestation that we see.
Exactly, deforestation, and it's totally bad for the planet. That's why I also like, I'm not fully vegan, but I'm vegetarian as well. So when I moved to Canada, I've exposed to like industrial farming and how they're really harmful to the environment. As you know, Brazil also is one, like the Amazon forest has been cleared, cut, right, to just raise cattle, like for food in the West, right? So, and that people didn't even realize.
They didn't even realize.
Yeah, so like
the Amazon, it's because it's huge, right?
It's huge.
It's huge. It's take through it not only in Brazil, right? They took another country also, and maybe they think, okay, I'm gonna take this part here for the animals, right? For animals culture there, but man, it's too much. It's a lot every day. If you see how big they are, the deforestation in Amazon, it's huge. The indigenous peoples that live is there for
exactly.
There are many indigenous
before us. If you go to history about Brazil in 1500, when you back there, when the first people went there, the indigenous was already there.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
And what they are doing with those peoples, with the forests, with everything. So it's pretty bad to see. It's pretty sad to see what's happened. Not only there, but in so many forests that we see around the world, right?
And we never learn from, like the indigenous people and the relation, how they connect with nature. I think it's something that we need to learn from them instead of like displacing them from their land. Yeah, so absolutely, I agree with you, and I've seen it in Brazil, not only in Brazil, but also in other parts of the world.
Yeah,
like in Asia, it's also like common thing. In Canada, that's also like I've mentioned with Wet'suwet'en territory is also like they're being displaced, they're removed from their homes. So those are the things that we have to also remember. And you're right, like industrial farming really, and people should think about it. Should really think about how they consume. Because for me, like being exposed to this made me aware of what the things, and like made me also be cautious about the choices that I make. So that make sure that when I consume this, does this affect the environment? So that's one thing that I also like have to think about. Although there's no perfect solution, it's hard maybe for an individual, and also I don't want to put this burden to the people, right?
Yeah,
it's the system that we need to change, and for systemic change, we need a lot of people to like really come together.
As I always hear our message here about for every people, even for vegan people, we don't point people and say you have to be vegan, you need to be vegan. No, right? Everybody has your choice. You know what you're doing. The thing is, we always think where I'm putting my money and what I'm putting inside my body.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm a financial something. Once I'm buying this, everything we have to buy, right? Nothing is free.
Yes.
Right? We have to buy. So where I put my money and what I'm financial for the world. Right?
Yes, absolutely right. I agree with you, because that's what people should think. You have the power, buying power.
Exactly.
You know where to put your money. So invest or buy things that are ethical, that are organic, that are local. So those are the things, but it's always hard. Those choices are always hard, right? So how to like buy local foods, like ethical, make sure that also they're not abusing workers to create. So those are the things that we also have to remember.
It's not only for animals, right?
Yes.
It's what happened
like
with
the workers
there.
that are so for me, I always think about when you buy Amazon, think about the workers that work for Amazon. Like aside from all the packaging materials that are like polluting, like
we saw. It's fun that we saw on the internet. Some like you buy a pen, it comes in a huge box with another box with a lot of plastic inside.
Yes.
That's my package.
Yes.
I said, man, I just bought a pen. Come
Yes.
on.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Absolutely. That's why, like, we have to be very cautious about like our choices and where to put our money. So it's important. And another thing that you mentioned earlier is like the plastic pollution. That's one thing that's also, bothering me a lot because, like they're predicting that in the next coming years, like there will be more plastic in the ocean than the fish.
Exactly.
So it's quite, and there's also evidence that there are microplastics. Those are like small pieces. Like plastic doesn't really like decompose over the years. They break down into small pieces called microplastics.
Yeah.
And they are being eaten by animals. By fish, and then those fish are also being eaten by us. Right.
The
So
microplastics have been found in the bloody woman body.
Yeah, the human
yes,
body.
And the placenta in the pregnant women.
Yeah.
And this is unbelievable. And the people, okay, go buy plastic.
Yes.
Yeah, as I said, it's like a circle, right?
Yeah.
You produce it here, go to the ocean, the fish eat, you eat the fish, and back to you.
Yes, exactly. And people don't realize that.
Back to you.
Yes.
It's hard for us how powerful the human is, right?
And most corporation would always say, oh, like people are not recycling these things properly. Now, again, putting like the burden to the consumers, right? So it's like when you produce something, I think for me, the solution would be for a company to produce something, they have to like really trace until the end of this product. Because for them, once I put this out, that's it for me.
Yeah,
you take care to dispose it. I think they should be responsible because most of our tax money are also like being used how to dispose this garbage, right? So that's one thing that I've been working so hard also, like trying to reduce plastic.
This is perfect what you said, because when I started to work with environment 2010, as I said at the beginning, it was with medication, right? With chemical waste that goes to the ocean, right? Usually medication that you don't, or expired, or you don't use medication that regular people has at home, right? And just dump in the sink, in the garbage, like that. And the big question at that time when I start to work is who's gonna pay for this? Because pharmaceutical company, we said you produce, so you are responsible, and pharmaceutical no, but people buy, they are responsible. Drugstore sell, they are responsible. And one point for another company, and nobody assume who is responsible for this. Right?
Yes.
Which for me it should be shared. Right?
Yeah.
It's a shared responsibility for everybody. Who produce, who sell, who buy, who dispose.
Yeah. But but for me, also like for me, when you produce something, you should know how where this goes after its life, right? So making sure that it doesn't pollute the environment. So for me, so I don't know, like there's so that's why like putting responsibilities to the consumer and how to dispose stuff, I think it's really difficult because we don't make those choices where those, like when we buy stuff, they're packaged already, and those choices are not our choices. It's the companies who produce them.
Exactly.
So they produce. It's not our choice where those potato chips are being packaged, right, or how they are packaged. So it's the company's choice. So we don't have that choice. We only buy what's available for us. So I think for me, putting that pressure on the company, like making sure that when you try to put something out there, you should also be responsible. How are these gonna be disposed?
Exactly.
What's the end life of
the
this?
End life?
Yeah, make sure that it's
what's
not
the option that I have? What do I do? Right?
Yes, because we've also seen changes when it comes to plastic, right? So we like Coca-Cola, like all those companies like that we used to buy like in bottles. Yeah. And now they're replaced by plastic. Pretty cheap, right? But
I remember when I was young, it's all bottle, it's all glasses, right?
Yes.
Coke, any company, any drinks,
Yeah.
Most it's glass, and now it's all plastic.
Yes. And like a little story actually, like in 2017, I went back to the Philippines to do a massive cleanup at the beach, like called Freedom Island. So this island is like a bird sanctuary. Like I think it's like 90 it's 9,000 or 5,000. I'm not sure how species of birds that are living there. So it's not a lot of like people who live there, but those are like usually bird sanctuary that islands. So when I get there, the shore is like covered with plastic, and those plastics are not even like from that island. It's coming from the major cities, like surrounding cities that are like just throwing their stuff in the ocean.
That is the place that people go to visit.
Yeah.
This place.
And yes, it like not a lot of people are actually like visiting it, because those are like sanctuaries for the birds. So like reserve, it's protected. And the amount of plastic is just like, overwhelming for me. It's like, so we did this cleanup, and this cleanup is actually also a brand audit. A brand audit is that when we gather plastics or we gather the trash, when we do cleanup, we gather the trash, we separate them by type. So all the disposable, all the reusable, all the plastics are separated, and then the plastic, what we do is we separate them by brand.
Okay.
And then we store these numbers to the world database. Like it's an organization called Break Free from Plastics that hosts a database about the numbers of plastic each brand produce, and that's how they come up with the top 5 plastic polluters in the world. Yeah. So in Canada, we also
these numbers, right?
Yes, in Canada we also did that. The cleanup. So and surprisingly, there's not much of the difference. The top 5 in the world are also basically the top 5 in Canada.
The same.
Yeah, Nestle,
exactly.
Coca-Cola, PepsiCo, and recently I think Starbucks and Tim Hortons are in that top 5.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Yes, because of those cups.
The cups.
And people don't realize that cups have plastic lining on it. That's why it doesn't decompose. And we've been fighting for it. And unfortunately, in 27, like just before the pandemic, we were having a campaign on this top 5 polluters, especially Tim Hortons. And Tim Hortons actually have agreed to do a pilot study of having reusable in like selected location. But unfortunately, pandemic hits.
And
that
says need to be changed.
That like everything changes.
Yeah.
Because now most companies would use the pandemic as an excuse to continue using plastics and disposable plastic, single-use plastic. So it's very sad. Even though scientists has also already it's safe. It's safe to use reusable. But still, that narrative has been put out there, and people believe that it's safer, for them. So it's sad. A lot of things has been pushed back since the pandemic.
Yeah.
But now that we're back again on the streets and organizing in person,
do you have any next rally that you're gonna do it? Do you have any date or?
No, not as of the moment. But if they want to be updated, they can sign up for the Greenpeace mailing list. Go to the greenpeace.ca website and sign up for the mailing list, and they will constantly be updated of what's going on with Greenpeace and what are the next steps are. So there's a lot of work to be done
there.
Yes.
Perfect.
So and we need a lot of people in this fight. So I hope people would be more cautious this time and more be involved this time. So I hope that more people are gonna be aware with what's going on and how it's going to affect our future.
Perfect. And how powerful we are, right? That
Yes.
how we can do what we can do to change it. That we can, right? So we can do a lot for change it.
Yeah, and the last rally was focused on the election also. Like, getting out there, voting, and vote for the environment.
Right.
So so that's one thing that we wanted to also make sure that people like elect officials that are give priority in solving the climate crisis. So
perfect. Awesome. You have another question?
No, that's okay.
Rommel, amazing conversation.
Yeah.
Amazing. If we can stay here for more 2 hours.
I know.
Easily.
There's so many things that we can talk about.
So many
climate.
things. That's amazing. We learn a lot. And I think the most important message is that let's work everybody, right? Let's get together. And so who is interested in this, just go to website, right? Greenpeace.ca.
Yes.
And they have all the information there, right?
Yes. Yeah. And they can be updated with what's going on. Yeah. So, and one individual can't solve anything, but collectively we can change things. So that's I'm really hopeful.
Okay. Perfect. So thank you so much, Rommel, for all the information. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for the invitation. It's a privilege.
It was awesome. So, and everybody, thank you so much for watching this. And our special thanks today for this episode to my Veganmarkt that helped us with this episode. And thanks, Rommel. See you soon.
Thanks,
everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.